This is a paid advertisement on behalf of P2 Gold. What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital, and we're here with Joe Ovsenek, CEO and President of P2 Gold. Pleasure to have you back on today, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much, Aaron.
Yes, excited to be talking. So first off, congrats on the new PEA. It's been a few months since we last spoke, and clearly a lot's changed. For those who might have missed the update, what are the biggest takeaways from this new PEA compared to the last one, and how do they reshape the story for P2 Gold right now?
Well, I think some of the big takeaways, we're quite excited about the PA because, we're now, we have upped our gold production on an average annual basis. We're now, about 109,000 ounces of gold a year, and we've upped our copper production to about 15,000 tons of copper metal a year on average. So those are nice bump ups. It makes the mine that much more prominent, or you know really puts us in that area where we will be a mid-sized producer once we get that up and running. So I find that to be a big one of the exciting things coming out of the PEA update. And also the payback. We've updated the costs. We haven't optimized other things, but we've updated costs and brought in our updated metallurgy. And with both those things, our economics have improved. So our payback's quicker, our return on investment. It just makes the project more robust. So yeah, it's just great, and we're pushing ahead.
So as you mentioned, improved gold and copper recoveries in the recent technical work. How much of an impact do those improvements have on overall economics? And do you see more room for upside as optimization continues?
Well, on the first part, look at if you look at our news release from this, you'll see that we probably, on an internal rate of return basis, we probably improved by about 5-6%. And that's after increasing costs. So we updated costs to August 2025. So the costs were about a year and a half refreshed on the project. So things had gone up. There's inflation everywhere. But we still increased our rate of return by about 5%. Our net present values bumped up considerably, $50 to $100 million, depending on the discount rate. So yeah, nice improvements, and just everything's just more robust. And the nice thing about the quicker payback, that helps de-risk the project, because the quicker you get your capital paid back, then you don't owe anything. You can drop your cutoff or raise your cutoff, whatever. Metal prices drop, you're not beholden to the bank. So just great to get that quicker payback.
So with gold holding strong and copper demand picking up again, timing feels crucial. How do you see the new PEA positioning P2 Gold within the current macro environment? And are we entering a window here where projects like Gabbs could start to attract serious attention?
Well, I think we've already seen that to some degree. We announced a financing. This is prior to our updated PEA coming out. We announced a financing at the beginning of September. We went out for $6 million. We ended up raising $11 million. And to be honest with you, we had demand for three or four more. We just couldn't take it within the bounds of our securities filings and that.
Mhm.
But no, it did great demand. I think we're finally seeing people looking around saying, okay, where are the next mines going to come from? And where are the next mines that are in solid jurisdictions? And so Gabbs is sitting there in Nevada. For most people, that's the top tier mining jurisdiction in the world. And they're looking for something of a decent size. There's a lot of mines in Nevada, or mines on the books that, are wanting to be built, that are, sub 100,000 ounces of gold, in that 50-60,000 ounce range. There are very few in the range where we're at. We're a nice mid-tier size gold mine in Nevada. And, you don't get that. Like, that's a sweet spot, if you ask me. So that really did bring in people. And I think that really helped us with our financing. And now we're, all systems go, pushing ahead.
Awesome. So, now that you've delivered the PEA, what's next on the roadmap? Are we talking pre-feasibility, permitting, partnerships, or perhaps a strategic financing? What milestones should investors be watching out for over the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, what we're looking at is we're going straight to feasibility. There was a lot of work completed on Gabbs historically in the 80s and 90s. We have access to all that information. We're doing some more of our work, but we don't feel the need to do a pre-feasibility study. This is a pretty simple operation. So straight to feasibility. So we've got infill drilling going on. We've got expansion drilling going on. We should be doing our geotechnical drilling shortly, starting up next month. So we're pushing hard. What we'd like to do is all these things go into a feasibility study. So ideally, I would say we're pretty much underway on feasibility now. Our target is to have it completed before the end of 2026. And while we're pushing ahead on the feasibility, that's one stream that we're working on. We're pushing on the permitting as well. We're working to get our mining plan of operations. We're a little held up right now with the shutdown of the government in the United States. But once the guys get back to work, um, we're hoping by mid-November we start seeing people getting back to work in the United States. We can get in, have our kickoff meeting on our mining plan of operations, and we'd like to run that in parallel so that about the time our feasibility study is completed and announced, we are also winding up and completing our mining plan of operations, and that will be granted. Once we have the mining plan of operations, then we will push hard on getting our environmental, whether it's an assessment or an impact study. It'll come out of our discussions on the mining plan of operations. Either way, we are going to keep pushing hard. We want to get to making a production decision as quickly as we can. So if I just look ahead at milestones for the coming year, we've got lots of drill results will be coming out through the rest of starting later in December this year, but through the first half of next year, we'll have, our feasibility study. We'll have a resource update mid-year, feasibility study later in the year. So yeah, we're pushing hard, and we expect to have, and because we're pushing hard, we'll have lots of news flow over the next 12 to 15 months.
Excited to have you back on to talk about that. So, finally looking beyond the PEA, how much blue sky potential do you see at Gabbs, whether it's deeper copper gold zones, regional exploration, or resource expansion? What's the untold upside that keeps you excited about this project?
Well, there's a lot of upside, and so yeah, right now, just for people not familiar with P2, we have a indicated resource of around, say, roughly 1.2 million ounces of gold equivalent, and an inferred resource of roughly 2.3 million ounces of gold equivalent for 3.5 million ounces total. About 2 million of that is actual gold, and 1.5 million of that would be copper expressed as an equivalent to gold. So we're in that 3.5 million ounce gold equivalent range. We feel near surface, there's a minimum, I'd like to say probably 4 to 5, and realistically 5 million ounces of gold equivalent near surface, and potentially more. We have never had the opportunity to really explore the properties. So all the zones that are on the property, we've expanded them, but they were all known zones when we bought the property in 2021. Now that we've got a fairly good treasury, we will spend a little bit of money poking a few holes where we think there's good prospects for expansion. And so initial target, 5 million ounces gold equivalent near surface, potential for more at depth, but also potential for more near surface. So there's just a lot of blue sky at Gabbs. And so while we're pushing ahead to production, we will do a bit of exploratory work just to show that this potential is there and maybe bring it out.
Lots of things going on, so it's a very exciting time. I'm sure you've waited a long time for this, especially with gold prices where they are. It's just awesome to see. So it's been a pleasure covering the story so far, and I look forward to having you back on for more updates as the project progresses, Joe.
Well, thank you. And yeah, it's just an exciting time to be in the gold business, especially at our stage, the gold developer with metal prices where they are. So look forward to coming back and giving you an update.